Our speaker is Sherry, and our lovely Sherry is sharing me that her most memorable moment in her trip is when she traveled to Thailand with her friends and Simon. Simon is her husband. And all of her friends are majored in English, but Simon is not. But surprisingly, just Simon can communicate with the local people within his English language, but the others of them couldn't. So Simon can sit in front of the car and talk with the Thailand people with the English, but all of them majored in English just can sit like behind it and smiling. Okay, so that is her most memorable experience in Thailand. Now let's welcome Sherry to sharing her speech.
Have you ever been misunderstood? How do you feel? Angry, upset, wrong, frustrated? As I first recalled, the first time that I got misunderstood was when I was a child. One day, I was wearing my roller skates and was about to stand up. My little cute sister showed up and said, "I wanted your roller skates." Of course, I didn't want to give that to her. It was my roller skates. I said, "No, go away." She started to cry. My mom then showed up and said, "You're the elder sister. Give your roller skates to your little sister." I felt so unfair. I took off my roller skates and reluctantly threw it away, which unfortunately hit my little sister. She then started to cry even louder. My mom just scolded me that, "How could you do this to your little sister? You're such a bad kid." She didn't even give me a chance to explain. She just jumped into a conclusion that I hurt my little sister on purpose. Though I did want to, I didn't have the nerve to do it. Just like this, misunderstanding happens when someone refuses to give a chance for you to explain. And very often you feel frustrated. You hate this person from the bottom of your heart. Misunderstanding happens in other situations. When someone gives you a chance to explain, but sometimes you may refuse to talk, since it may expose your vulnerability. My mom, who suffered from depression for more than 20 years, was not used to express herself. She always hides her feelings and thoughts in her mind, no matter what she encountered. We don't know what she is thinking about. On every second year of the Lunar New Year, we go back to Grandma's house to pay her New Year visits. One year, she refused to go. We tried so many ways to convince her that we only go back to Grandma's house once a year. You have to go back. My grandma will miss you so much. She's scared. She's worried about if you are doing well or not. If you miss this time, you have to wait for another year to come back. No matter what we said, she just kept saying, "No, I didn't want to go." We didn't have a clue why she didn't want to go until we asked her why. After 10 times of asking why, she said, "I didn't have money to pay for the feast. I didn't have money to give red envelopes to my parents. I don't want to go home." I feel terribly sorry that I could have been misunderstood, that she didn't care about her parents at all. In fact, she cares about her parents too much. She wanted to give red envelopes to her parents. After this, I learned that instead of forcing someone to do something he or she doesn't want to do, we need to know the reason why they don't want to do at the first place and solve the problems. But sometimes when you even ask reasons and they provide just some lame excuse. My husband Simon was once NAGU Toastmaster members, and I always wanted him to come here to support me and practice speaking English. But he told me that he wanted to improve his English speaking skills as well. But he rarely comes here. Even if I invite him to come, he will just pretend, huh? What did you just say? And we have gotten into fight for this for so many times. One time, I warned him that I have asked him why the first time that why don't you want to come? And he replied, I just feel tired, shut up. I thought that is just some excuse. So one day, I warned him that you have to come tonight, otherwise I'll be so pissed off. And you guess, did he show up that night? No. I came back and attacked him with so many offensive language. He couldn't stand up but fought back that my English is not just like you. It's very hard for me to speak in English, and it lowered my self-confidence. I felt kind of guilty of pushing him, since I don't know. He has so many negative thoughts. After knowing his vulnerability, for the first time, I became the considerate wife. I stopped forcing him to come. I stopped expecting him to show up at occasions. And then I find out that we are more close to one another. We have less fights. There must be a reasons behind each decisions. To avoid conflicts, to avoid misunderstanding, we have to ask why. We have to let others have a chance to explain why they do this, instead of jumping into conclusions. If they refuse to say why, we need to be more patient by asking more why, more times. If they just give you some lame excuses, you just need to find a way to find out the true reasons. Only finding out the true reasons can we be more close to our friends and families and help them solve the problems. That's all. Dig out the true reasons before judging. You will be surprised how many people you can love more than you can imagine. Toastmaster of the evening.
And